the Draven ban against Arrow to begin with.
Well, sad times. I love watching his Draven play.
Me too.
But if they want to first pick a Sivir, you really need to get rid of that Draven because that is an absolutely horrendous matchup for Sivir.
See, there's only two kind of Draven games at the pro level in Korea. One that's absolutely horrible, and the player is mocked for playing Draven. The other one, the player is so ridiculously good with Draven that you never see them get to play it again. And Arrow and now last night Lacti have both had those amazing Draven games, so they will never get to play Dragon again, or Draven again.
Yeah, they certainly will. Yasuo, interestingly, banned out here from the White Shield side, and the Caitlyn ban. The thing about NaJin White Shield is if we look at them, we don't think of them as a big playmaking team. We think of them as team that really is very crisp in their rotations and known for their fast-pushing strategies. So having that Caitlyn has always been kind of core to their team identity, and that's not going to be up for them tonight. Yeah. Now, the KT Heroes, on the other hand, for those of you who aren't familiar, they really are cut from the same cloth as the Bullets. They will take the same kind of sneaky Barons. They will take the same kind of sneaky Dragons. They're unpredictable and very reactive and fluid in their play.
Now, that's interesting to note because with this type of event, you know, where it's organization versus organization, do you think that maybe makes KT a little bit too one-dimensional? They're very good at what they do, but is it easy to counter?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, we didn't really see any of the KT Bullets attempts at Baron, though, although I will commend in the last game the Bullets, even with how far behind they were, they managed to keep a ridiculous amount of control over Baron for a team that was losing.
That is true. That is true. It's kind of their specialty.
But
well, Elise gets through. We don't see that very often.
Now watch ruminating over this pick right now. The Sivir is still up, however. I think they're trying to decide if they actually want to hand that one over or not. And Gorilla, known for his Thresh play. Gorilla known for Thresh and Sona.
Yep.
And we'll see what he actually ends up grabbing in this one. There are a lot of supports off the board right here.
I think Elise is a good pickup. There's that possible Lulu.
It's worth noting that Sunday used to play Lulu in the top lane as well as part of some very strange fast push strategies from the KT Bullets.
That's right.
Back when Sunday was on that team, and so I'm a little bit curious as to, there's a lot of possibilities here as to where this Lulu could be going, but Sivir and Lulu take it immediately. Will NaJin grab the Shyvana?
I'm wondering. There's a Renekton.
Yeah, I think they want to take that one away from Sunday.
He's a good Renekton player.
So also here, Save, NaJin Shield really stuck with a lot of Tryndamere picks in Champions Winter. They were known for split pushing very heavily with either Save on Tryndamere or Jax. So they're a fun kind of team that made it to the semifinals while kind of bucking the meta the whole way.
Well, yeah, Save, a former mid laner, really familiar with playing a lot of those AD carry type players like the Assassins and things like that in mid lane, and brought a lot of that up to top lane as well. And it had kind of, you know, mixed results, but overall pretty good. Yes, his Tryndamere split push was always something to be feared. They're going to grab LeBlanc and Renekton.
Shyvana should be the pick right here.
I would imagine, yeah.
For KT, just because they have a lot of synergy with Sivir and Lulu.
I'd be surprising to see a Zed. We have not seen a whole lot of that.
Well, Zed, you know, he's just a niche pick now. He's still quite good, and with his mobility that you get from Sivir as well, can be very strong. Be interesting to see how he ends up playing this out against the LeBlanc in the mid lane. He does have some of that attack damage harass.
It'll be a great day when we get to see Jungle Sejuani come again. But probably not today. And this is how he's going to be able to get that Lee Sin, it looks like. That's pretty huge for him. And so that leaves the question open, you know, where is this Lulu going to go?
This is also,
mid lane or support? It's
a very weird ban phase here in Korea because we almost never see both Elise and Lee Sin up in the same game.
Yeah.
So having them on opposite sides gives each jungler a lot of options for early pressure, and I like them saving their mid pick until last right here. There's no reason to grab it early on because there's so much you can do with the composition that we're seeing from the KT Arrows right now. It looks like they're going to be going for a primarily 5v5 based team fighting comp, which could mean that an Ori pick is good right here if possibly if he runs Barrier, he could do it against LeBlanc. And there's Gorilla on Sona. That is his backup pick when he doesn't get that Thresh.
Yeah, generally one of his go-to champions. And Sona Lucian, not a bad lane. You've got that sustain, you've got the poke. A lot of poke, actually, from that lane. And of course, you know, locking people down with Crescendo is going to make it pretty easy for Goon to get kills if he gets a good game early on in the mid lane.
Well, NaJin White Shield actually has a very good siege composition right here, although it doesn't necessarily seem like it. Their 4-1 split push is very strong. Yeah. You have the ranged smoke from the jungler, and with Athene's WMAX LeBlanc, you're clearing waves and poking under turret very effectively, as well as having Sona for counter engage and Lucian's culling for clearing waves. So right now, actually, NaJin White Shield could be planning on some kind of fast push like we know them for.
Well, I would certainly enjoy a Blitzcrank pick, but he's just shown himself, you know, time and time again to not really be the best support at the moment. But with Annie and Thresh banned out, if you want to go for picks, not a bad way to go.
Yeah, I'd be very concerned about this KT Arrows team because they really lack damage with a mid lane Lulu and a Simmer.
You know, I feel like if you want to grab people, grab Zyra, you know? Alistar could put a lot of pressure onto that Sona.
You have to 5v5 very efficiently early with a team fighting composition like this. You know, this is the Shyvana Lulu Sivir combo is something that CLG likes to run a lot. And it works if you have a strong mid-game and good control over Dragon. But you start falling behind, and you have to rely on that Shyvana to get a Blade of the Ruined King and do a lot of damage output late. But you can also delay tank items just because an AP Lulu will give Shyvana about 1,000 HP on a wild growth, so you don't need to be as tanky. But
good point.
Building an early Blade in a Renekton matchup isn't really an option.
Yes, Sam and Cloud, and I'm furiously scribbling notes right now. And so here's the final roster for the KT Arrows. Loving that mid lane Lulu, man. It's so cool to see. Hasn't really seen a lot of huge success yet, but I enjoy it. Well, I don't mind.
The Lulu LeBlanc matchup in mid lane is a skill matchup as well, so it's not a cakewalk for really either of them. And I think if I had to be pressed, I'd say Lulu does have a slight edge in that lane. She's got good poke, and she's got the shield to kind of prevent a lot of that burst damage from coming down. And at 6, she can just wild growth herself. So there's not a lot of kill pressure coming out of LeBlanc.
Yeah. True enough. And Sona, a support we hardly ever see anymore. Kind of cool to see Gorilla or Galera. Now he's Galera. He was Gorilla a moment ago. He's Gorilla in the lobby. Who knows what's going to go on? We're going to go into the game. That thing's for sure. KT Arrows versus NaJin White Shield. The game is loading. Can KT Arrows come back and tie up the series 1-1? Or will Shield pull to a 2-0 lead and, well, win the match, I guess, in the second game? Let's find out. It is time to get in the game. Here we are, guys. Welcome to Summoner's Rift Set 2. NaJin White Shield versus the KT Arrows. And we will see if Goon's LeBlanc can do a bit better than Ryu's. You know, I mean, people are telling me on Twitter, well, Ryu always looks sad. And yes, that's true. I do agree, but he's a little bit sadder than usual today. I saw like a little bit more slump in the shoulders, you know, a little bit more droop to the cheeks.
The sadness of the Ryu.
Still is the Eeyore of the Korean League of Legends scene, it's true.
He certainly is.
Lulu always has a great time, man.
NaJin White Shield is really kind of all in a little bit with their fast push composition here. They are going to not scale particularly well, at least compared to, well, it's hard to say actually, because the LeBlanc will scale better, the Lulu will scale a little worse, but top lane, you got to give the advantage to the KT Arrows. However, the problem with NaJin Shield is that they don't have the best engage in the world. So in a late game team fight, they're really reliant on,
Oh, Sunday gets a big caught here by Save, and Goong has to pop that burnout right away. May have been planning on taking that at level 1 anyway. We do see that once in a while. At least he got that deep ward down, but that's going to be a bit annoying. In fact, Save chasing him all the way into the jungle.
So yeah, they are going to be reliant on Flash Crescendo to engage or a good Elise Cocoon in the late game, and that can be pretty problematic, Joa. So NaJin Shield, they need to get some towers early and get an advantage, because KT has a great 5v5 early on in this game. And that was kind of a fake leash right there, actually.
Yeah,
I'm not
so.
sure. It looks like they're trying to fool NaJin Shield as to where exactly the jungler is starting, both top and the dual lane showing up at exactly the same time. So let's see if their mind games work.
Well, Arrow and Hachani are going to have a bit of a hard time putting on pressure in this lane early on. The poke from Gorilla, pretty huge.
That was actually pretty clever by KT. They even pulled it out just a little bit. They attacked the Golem in case there was a ward there. They kind of pulled it into the brush.
Oh, nice Q power chord on the Arrow, taking a big chunk out of him.
So they got the timing perfect as well by getting those auto attacks off. And they don't really know where Cacao is. And they're playing very passively right here. This could be a pretty rapid level 3 gang plan. No wards in this bot lane. It's pretty risky. They need to hit level 2 though and clear out this wave. So now they're going to push out the wave with the Ricochet. And here's the move. Is Cacao going to come down and try and gank this?
Looks like he might. Like you
This
said,
is some-
no wards in River just yet.
This is some possible, just crazy mind gaming from the KT Arrows right here.
Yeah. Cacao could use his totem. And there we go, the flash pulverize. They knock Zephyr back in there. There's the exhaust immediately. That level 2 gank gets Zephyr in big trouble. First blood goes to Cacao, and that is why you cannot let this man play Lee Sin.
That was so clever from the KT Arrows to actually be able to pull that one off. However, watch up here in the top lane.
Someday in a lot of trouble, gets hit with Cocoon and the Spiderling save, taking a lot of damage from the turret. Oh, has to burn his slash. They get the kill, but save down 2 summoners. I guess 2 summoners on Someday's side as well, so it evens out.
So, talking about this lane, basically the leash, so they fooled, let's break that down, they fooled on the leash so that they wouldn't know where the jungler was. Then they played passively with Sivir. They had it timed out so that Sivir would be able to ricochet, clear that wave, and the time Cacao came so they wouldn't take too much minion damage. Hachani flash wolves in at level 2, knocks Zephyr back under the turret, and then picks up the kill. That was just insanely good early game planning from the KT Arrows. This is a fun team to watch.
Oh yeah.
But also very well answered by NaJin Whiteshield up there, realizing where the jungler was and then taking advantage of it, and saves he baited Someday out a little bit right there by making it look like he was going to take more damage and then using his flash in a clever manner to ensure that the kill went over to Watch.
Yep. So each jungler so far with the kill.
Sivir actually going for double Dorans here.
Yeah, well, she's a little bit behind, so those extra stats are going to be helpful just to be able to kind of muscle her way up there and make sure that she's getting that CS, I suppose.
Yeah, at this point in the game, however, they will be able just to push this wave. They're not going to let it fall back under the turret anymore. The mind games are probably over at this point. Cacao is going to run into Watch.
Yes, indeed, there's Cacao with a trouble, landed the Q, manages to get over to the mini golem that was left over. That mini golem hadn't been there.
Yeah,
Watch might have been a little bit of trouble.
Watch picked up a couple wards though, and he got 3 deep on the red side right now. Pink ward will be discovered right there. Oh, I think it was seen by Cacao. There he goes. Doubles back right now.
Yep.
In order to clear it out. So that one's not long for this world, but a nice attempt there from Watch. Watch is back.
That's right. Cocoon misses this time. Cacao's going to be able to walk back up to the top lane. Hachani misses that pulverize. Arrow taking the passive damage from Zephyr. Got some good sustain there with Gorilla's heal. Like you said, the Sivir push is going to start to make this lane go a little bit more in KT's favor. The CS, though, still definitely looking good for Zephyr.
Yeah, it sure is. And look at this. Watch still wants to put the hurt on Someday up here. They're using this advantage.
Someday only at about half health. They're going to be able to dive this one. There's a flash. Someday in big trouble again. Someday just getting beaten up, safe, using Dominus to stay alive. They may be able to claim the turret right here, too.
Yeah, this is just really good jungling by Watch. So he's zoning out Cacao. He's got a bunch of wards up there.
Rookie in a bit of trouble.
Yeah,
well, I guess he did force.
He's fine, though. He's got wild growth anyway.
He's got no mana, though, so he's got to be really careful.
So anyway, just the jungling here, exceptional from Watch early on as well. This is a great battle of the junglers that we're seeing in this game. And so to just using the wards early on to make sure he knows the movements of Kakao, and then since they have this Renekton pressure early on, they're really maximizing Save's advantage. Unfortunately, Save hasn't been able to get kills, but he's more than doubling the CS of Someday at the moment.
Not bad. Speaking of doubling CS, Zephyr nearly doubling Arrow CS as well. Kakao down in the bot lane, hiding in that brush. See if they can draw out the NaJin players for a bit of a gang. Let's see, nope. Kakao going back to base. So we'll have to wait some more.
Yeah, Arrow very far down in CS right here. It is a bit surprising, but I guess the poke from Zephyr and Gorilla just a little bit too much for him to handle at the moment.
Just because it's another champion with spinning blades doesn't mean he's going to be quite as good as he is on that Draven.
Goong and Watch, they're setting up around this dragon right now, trying to get the vision control. Another couple wards purchased. They're not going to see that blue buff. So they were actually fooled right there. They didn't have the timer, but Save is on the other buff at the same time. So NaJin with a little bit of a double invade right here, but this could be bad. Save is going to pop over the wall.
There's the ultra tail. Oh, Rookie with a nice wild growth, Save in a bit of trouble. Here's 3-on-1, and Save going to get taken down. Oh, meanwhile, Gorilla takes a lot of damage in that bot lane, but Hachani with the Ignite on him, they have to back off. Watch coming down, it could be a 3v2. They're gonna dive this one, it looks like. Gorilla, no level 6 just yet, no crescendo. There's Moon Arrow, pushes, well, Watch gets pushed away. Hachani with the pulverized undercurrent, Arrow in trouble. There we go, it's gonna be a double kill for Zephyr.
Very nicely played.
Yeah.
And every time, this is just great movement by Watch and the rest of the team. Every time we see Kakao make a play on the map, there is an answer for NaJin White Shield on the opposite side. And every time they get more for it as well. This time they're going to get the dragon as well as the 2 kills. And NaJin White Shield just looking superb.
Man, both NaJin teams today really looking surprisingly good. You know, we assumed Shield would be the better of the 2, but looking good for NaJin in general. The game is still young, though.
Yeah, if you had asked me, I would have thought the KT Heroes and Bullets would have been up 2-0 at the conclusion of this match. But
I would agree.
You know, this game's a long way from over, but Hachani steals it.
Nice blue steal, yeah. Wow.
So they couldn't quite get the move up on top of the 2 kills.
Yep, some good games today.
Yeah, Arrow having a lot of trouble on this Sivir, however. It was really the right pickup in this situation, and they don't get the dragon, you know. Let's take a look at this coming up here against Save one more time. Kakao manages to get the smite off. Someday going to follow over the wall with Dragon's Descent. And then Rookie with the flash knock-up. Kakao coming in with a flash as well. Maybe not necessary, but here's the answering kill. Hachani's zoning out just a little bit right here. They realize that Goong has left the mid lane. Ping's going down wildly. Watch shows up as well, and good deep wards. Make sure that Watch is totally clear.
And Hachani made a nice effort to kind of keep Watch occupied that actually prevented Watch from picking up turret aggro through all that as well. So it worked the opposite of what they wanted.
Yeah, it wasn't enough though, and
yep.
You really shouldn't be falling this far behind in CS early on in Sivir either. You've got to just push, push, push. And they haven't been able to have that opportunity.
Yeah, that's right. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, a lot of damage already. That glitter lance so good for wave clear.
Yeah, we'll have to check the gold. The gold is a little bit deceptive right now due to the relic shield and some of the CS picked up by Hachani.
Yeah,
but
right.
he's still going to be a little bit behind.
Parting glitter lance. I think he's kind of glad that one didn't hit. He would have taken a turret shot for that. And the culling activated. Arrow in a little bit of trouble. Hachani blocking some of those shots, though. Yes. He'll be okay, but again, just Arrow bleed out a lane. And now, you know, I mean, Zephyr up, BF sword up on his lane opponent.
Yeah, very significant right there. Yeah. Pretty tremendous difference. So they're still trying to stick with it, but the zone for Gorilla and Zephyr just huge right now. And this is what they need, you know. Basically, NaJin Shield has to be ahead because they don't have that good engage. So they need to be ahead. They need to have more pressure so that they can take towers. That was a great
pulverize. That's right. Here comes Kakao coming in. Gorilla a little bit of trouble. Nice crescendo to lock up Kakao for a moment. Can they save him though, Zephyr? Look at the turnaround. Man, that crescendo really saved him in the bot lane.
That's the difference
Watch,
a
though.
BF sword makes right there.
It's going to be a 4-man dive. Coon coming in as well. Kakao wrapped up with that cocoon. Nashani comes in with the headbutt, then the pulverize, but now he's locked up. Ignite down on him. Gorilla taking those turret shots. They get the support kill, and they're going to be able to get this bot lane turret too.
Now Rookie late on the rotation right there, trying to clear out the wave, but bot turret goes down. 2 towers up now, and Save in the meantime, crushing through the HP on the mid lane turret. He went Brutalizer first, interestingly.
Oh,
That's
weird,
not a very common item, but
that's a strange start for Nexus.
yeah, I don't really know what to make of that. I suppose since Sunday was really far down early on, if he thought that he was only going to have enough money for Chain Vest, he'd have that extra armor penetration
exactly
in order to knock through it.
That is what, Sunday ended up going with first. There's now, picking up the Giant's Belt, but he did go for the Chain Vest as his first item towards the Sunfire Cape, so I suppose you could make an argument for it. But long term, I don't know how helpful that Brutalizer is really going to be.
Tiamat is really just a better, if you want to go for that damage, a better early game item.
Yep.
But with the CDR, he's able to spam his abilities just a little bit more, and he had such an edge that he doesn't really make that big of a difference which item he got first, and he's nearing the completion of his Sunfire Cape now, and he's on through.
Man. Although, a bright spot for KT Rookie is at his Athenes, whereas Goom hasn't quite picked up his just yet. Damage on that Chani as he's down the mid lane. Oh, Goom coming in. They want to see if they can get a kill out of this. Can they? There's the tether. The Wild Growth on the Chani. Keeping it pretty live. That is a huge cow right there, man. Oh, plus Wild Growth. Wow. He gets away.
Well, that kind of damage is exactly what they need, though. They need to force people off the turret. They've already, NaJin has just opted for a 5-man on mid. They're going for this fast push.
Oh, the flash going in on a Rookie. Rookie in a bit of trouble. He's going to get taken down. Save knocked out. He's going to be, well, that looks like they're going to get him too, probably. No, Dominus pop. Oh, crescendo over the wall. Save doing more damage. I would have thought he would have kept running. May have cost him his life. But it looks like NaJin Short will continue to push. Arrow had to flash over the wall to get away from that.
I mean, that was just an extremely impressive team fight, and NaJin Shield just looking incredibly decisive, using the composition to the maximum. Someday putting pressure on this bottom lane turret, though he's not going to kill it very quickly.
Do you think Save stayed in that fight a little bit too long? I mean, Crescendo gave an opportunity for him to move out, but he stuck around and died for it. Was that really worth it?
Maybe. They had. It depends on how much damage they got onto that tier 2 turret, but
I
probably not very much.
And
in fact, they've lost a couple towers for it in any case right here.
Yeah.
And actually Someday ahead in CS right now.
He managed to catch up. Save chasing, doesn't quite have his Sunfire Cape just yet. Dragging up in about 12 seconds. Exactly 12 seconds, I should say.
KT Arrow's already set up right there, but Shyvana having to recall. Renekton nowhere near.
Yeah.
Not a lot of vision for the arrows compared to the big ring of wards surrounding the dragon from Shield.
Zephyr pushing up that bot lane in a moment. They're going to try to catch it. I don't think they're going to be able to get him. Look like it. There's the calling. They just want to push him back. NaJin Shield really wants this dragon.
Yeah, they want to push the wave back so that they maintain the pressure in bottom so they can more safely start this dragon. Kakao clearing out some wards right there with the help of a lens. Everybody's coming.
It's a bit risky. Here we go. Good old-fashioned NaJin dragon fight on the way. Someday gets a little bit caught, some damage. Kakao over the wall, lands a Q on Kung, but can't go in on it. Gorilla there to zone. Oh, watch, there we go, gets headbutted. Gorilla in position for Crescendo. If he decides to use it, doesn't quite have it just yet. Someday comes in, there's a nice Wild Growth with the knock-up save in the back lines with Dominus. And there's the flash Crescendo coming in. There's the engage for NaJin White Sword, but can they make something out of it? They take down Shyvana quickly. A huge 4-man pulverize from Achani. The members of NaJin Shield pretty low right now. Rookie chasing Zephyr, pushing him away, and Arrow. Whoa, they managed to take down Rookie, and Zephyr comes in with the double kill. Achani a little bit of trouble. They're going to let Kakao go because the Dragon more valuable after those 4 kills. 4 clean kills and a dragon for NaJin White Shield. The Q landed onto Gorilla from Kakao. I don't think he wants to stick around and do that 1v5, though.
That was really just an excellent team fight from both sides. I know we saw 4 kills go down on the KT Arrows, but they played that about as well as they could.
They
backed
close.
off because they knew, basically they were concerned about the flank from Renekton, so they pulled back, and then the Crescendo only hit one person. They were waiting for it before they re-engaged right there. They may have popped Sivir ult just a little bit early, but really what won NaJin Shield that team fight was the fact that Zephyr had a Bloodthirster while Arrow did not, and Zephyr's positioning was extremely good coming in from the side.
You know, it was so tricky because at the beginning of that team fight, Gorilla didn't even have Crescendo available. It was just moments away from being up just yet. Came up just in time, though.
Did indeed. I really want to see that team fight again. That was a very high-level team fight.
Look at that CS lead for Zephyr right now, 142 to 88.
Yeah, that's really the story of this game, because if they had been even in CS, I do think the KT Arrows would have been able to take that fight.
It's an uncommonly bad performance by Arrow, honestly. I mean, he's a better carry than this.
Well, he was excellent last season on Zenix Storm. There's no doubt about it. But that said, Arrow, you know, these kind of pushing, kind of long. I mean, Sivir obviously has a short auto range, but more pressure-oriented carries were not really what he was good at. When we think about Arrow, it's Draven and Ezreal. That's what this guy was really quite good on.
You know, the thing is you talk about these champions, and then I go, well, why doesn't he play Jinx?
Well, I mean,
I feel
Jinx
like it would fit him so perfectly.
Yeah, it just doesn't have that same escapability, that same mobility that Korean AD carries really prefer.
That is really it. I mean, every time we talk to him about it, that's their reason. They're like, well, there's really no good escapes with Jinx. And my response is, well, you don't need him. He's just going to be killing everybody.
Well, also,
just get excited, man.
Jinx was nerfed in this patch as well.
Yeah, that is true.
So she's fallen off even in the West. It's mostly due to meta reasons, though. She's just too immobile against Sivir, basically.
Zephyr grabs the red buff, and it's going to make it even more scary. NaJin White Shield pushing through that mid lane. At about 18 minutes now, a little bit early to think about Baron, but with the way this game has been, with how one-sided it is in favor of NaJin White Shield, you have to be a little bit worried for the KT Arrows.
Yep, they're maintaining pressure beautifully as well. NaJin White Shield is doing a good job of playing out their composition to a pretty tremendous lead at 19 minutes. Their lack of engage not really hurting them when they can just sit here and siege all day. They are very comfortable, have good wards on the flanks right now. They're not worried about Shyvana, save just keeping Shyvana bottled up at that tier 2 turret in the top lane.
Siege all day. Which is really what it's supposed to be. I mean, sieges normally last for months, you know, historically.
Here's the rotation, and it was a fake rotation.
Yeah.
And they're going to come back now.
A pleasant walk through the jungle. Although, you know, it's called the jungle, but it's really more like a forest. You know?
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, it's not really much of a jungle.
How many coniferous jungles are there, though?
No jungle plants. I mean, I guess we have a gorilla in this game. Other than that, you know, no boa constrictors or other jungle animals, flora and fauna. Oh, NaJin White Shield just exerting their control over the quote-unquote jungle. Taking everything they can. The so-called jungle. What is it really?
I don't know. It's very strange. It's more like a mountain stream. You got all the fir trees. You got the nice cool river.
It's about as jungly as like the forest in Colorado is.
Being a Colorado native myself, I can appreciate that.
I guess I could say like northern Minnesota as well, or Wisconsin. That's where I grew up. We had a lot of pine trees there as well. No wraith camps. We did have wolf camps though. That's true.
No whites.
No whites. No. Oh, Johnny in a little bit of trouble. A lot of bursts coming in from Goon.
Yeah, his ult's already been blown too, so we have a really hard time. But gotta hand it to NaJin Shield. Just very patient, deliberate siege right there. They got the poke they needed to eventually push everybody off there, and they continue just to run through, clear all the wards. And here comes Save for the potential dive. No,
yeah, well,
they just want the tower.
Again, man, the tower is just so much more valuable. It's not worth it to dive like that. Arrow trying to get there, but KT can jump. Oh, there we go. NaJin's looking for, or Shield rather, as much as they want. No way to
Got
carry.
Zephyr.
Now coming in. Whoa, we got kicked back in. Zephyr managed to flash away though, and his positioning still okay. Well, a little bit risky now, and this is looking okay. Someday in the back lines, a double kill for him, and now NaJin's Shield on the run. Another nice pulverize coming in from Ajani. Rookie, so much untouched. Very dope, wow. My grammar just gave up right there, apparently. Save might as well give up here as well. Arrow's gonna claim that kill. And a win in that team fight from KT Arrow.
That was an exceptionally good hop kick there from Kakao to get Zephyr out of that one. And then with the Sivir ult, after the flash from Zephyr, they were able to get on top of him immediately. And he's the big difference in this game. And as soon as they cut him out of the picture, because we have this more Athene's focused build here onto LeBlanc. Oh, this is so good by Kakao. It's very sudden as well. I totally didn't expect that.
Yeah,
just the flash kick coming back. Simple move, but it was enough. And when the Sivir ult gets on him, here comes Someday with the flash right on top of Gorilla and Zephyr. And then you see just the power of this Shyvana coming through and the chase potential that Sivir offers right here. So, you know, you take Zephyr out of the equation, this fed Lucian, you've got then a Grail LeBlanc that's great at sieging, great at poking people out, but not so good in a burst situation in a team fight. And you have Renekton, who's going to fall off into the late game.
Yeah. Well, they do manage to take Dragon, so they maintain that 7,000 gold lead, which is still significant to 23 minutes into the game, but they need to be a little bit careful. KT has shown that with proper engage, they can win team fights. Oh, Trinity Force picked up by Zephyr now, though. But again, I suppose that really doesn't change anything, does it? Because if Zephyr's dead, doesn't matter what IDC has.
Yeah, very true. Well, they're trying to create a pick right here. They've actually cleared out all of those very many wards from the jungle. Shyvana pushing up the mid lane. So they are attempting to be sneaky. And Watch is going to bite him. He's got repelled though.
Oh yeah, he does. He can try to get away, and there we go. Goon coming in as well. Johnny in a little bit of trouble. There's calling over the top. Another large cow, but he just makes
this crescendo
away. Crescendo over the top. Yeah. Someday, a little bit of trouble as well. Pass it back off. That missed crescendo didn't end up meaning too much. Save. Doing a bit of damage. Arrow gets poked, but that shield from Rookie gonna keep him alive. Gorilla on the run.
They needed to get Save, Zephyr, or Gorilla right there.
Meanwhile, Save still fighting Kakao here. Kakao a bit low. NaJin White Sword diving yet again. Diving deeper and deeper into their opponent's side of the map. Rotating up to try to finish off that top lane tier 2 turret. And it looks like they'll be able to get it, no problem. There we go.
So out of that fight, Shield did in fact get the advantage, but it was a nice attempt for a team that is 9,000 gold down to claw their way back into contention right here. I mean, 24 minutes into this game, and Arrow still doesn't have a static shiv yet. Not a good position to be in if you are the KT Arrows, but they are regaining vision control slowly, as well as they can, considering the deficit.
You see those little floating things on Sona's costume? I'm guessing those are filled with like helium or something.
That's what keeps her afloat?
That's right. Little helium balloons, see? On the edge there. Pretty sure.
I like it.
Yeah. Or maybe her instrument has like little jet engines on the bottom that she just kind of is leaning on it. And
do you think that would burn her or light her clothes on fire?
Oh, well, that's why she's kind of like, see, her legs are sort of like back a bit. She's leaning forward so that they don't get in the...
I gotcha.
See? So it should be okay.
Science.
Science. It's science. That's right.
Well, Void Staff coming up next on Boon because there's very little magic resist on the KT Arrows right now to deal with that burst. So maximizing his damage just a little bit right there, and
maybe Sony uses magnets. Can't explain that.
How do they work though?
That's right. Can't explain those.
Oh, this is a good call. They're not even going to build static shift this game onto Sivir. They're going straight into Last Whisper, so at least you can actually deal damage in these fights. The wave clear is just kind of pointless at this point. Got to be able to 5v5 fight. They're not going to be able to defend turrets even if they have the static shift, so you just got to rush them. Rush them with the Boomerang Blade and hit as many people as possible with the Last Whisper.
It's like that they focus down the Lulu's Shield as minion. They never want one of those glitter lances coming out and slowing down your team. Least expected. There's the culling, pushing off of the turret yet again.
Shouldn't use spell shield like that on the culling like we saw Arrow do. It only blocks one hit.
Yeah. Oh well, it's a thought that counts.
Is it?
It's no, not this game.
The siege, it continues.
Yep. Could end soon though. Either a fight or a dead turret. Something's gonna be dead though.
Well, NaJin Shield is right. They are correct to proceed with this degree of caution.
Oh, someday, no caution there. Gustavo going to chase him down. Oh, he's going to get pushed back in. Has to pop that ultimate to get away. And NaJin Shield can just disengage. Sivir ult. Oh, man, they got so many ults out of that. That was good for Shield.
Yeah, NaJin Shield, we saw KT Arrows win that fight even though they were down. So they're doing everything to protect their flanks. From this Shyvana. They know the danger that this 5v5 composition presents.
Oh, there we go. He's coming in, doing some damage. Zeppa, though, takes down the turret.
Really dangerous.
Yeah. He's playing at his LeBlankiest. That's when you do the most LeBlanc-like thing. That's the...
Get chunks?
The word. Get chunks. That's right. Chunkin and Duncan. That's what LeBlanc does to people.
The old chunk and dunk.
That's right.
Well,
A little bit of the razzle-dazzle.
The old razzle-dazzle.
Her staff is kind of razzle-dazzling.
Yeah, she's doing some pretty good damage right now, too. Well,
looks like she hit Tarek with it. Part of his gems fell off and just kind of stuck to the end of her staff. It's truly outrageous when you think about it.
Popping Tarek like that.
And the KT Arrows just trying to get some semblance of lane control back again at this point in the game, but it's going to be easy. Trying to poke yet again.
Interesting that Watch has built all the way to Leandries right here. They're very concerned about this Shyvana being able to kill her.
Yeah. Because
even though Shyvana's down, and as we hit the post 30-minute mark, this is where Shyvana really powers up over Renekton. And that Randuin's Omen getting closer and closer as well. Lucian is Sunday right there.
Not a lot of vision
for the arrows, but they've got enough. The point is they have enough to stop the Baron if it happens, and the lane is pushing out in their direction nearby. So instead, NaJin moves over to take the dragon.
You know, we're seeing something a bit similar to what we saw last game, where the NaJin team is playing it very safely, very cautiously in the late game. And I feel like NaJin Shield, though, has maybe a little bit better reason to do that than Sword did last game, but either way, it's a suspenseful end.
It is, but NaJin, like I said, NaJin is playing this out as well as they can. They really can't force this game.
Yeah.
They just lack the initiation, they lack the mobility that the KT Arrows possess, and we saw what can happen to Zephyr even with this big gold difference. So the caution is warranted, and even though we are seeing 10K right here, KT still incredibly strong if they get the right positioning in a 5v5.
Right.
It's not like they have to get a pick or anything like that. They just have to get a flank. Or have Kakao make an amazing engage.
Kakao dodged that skill shot. He's lucky he did. NaJin start going through and clearing out a lot of these boards. They're going to try to steal the red buff as well. Looks like they will pull it in. Wow, they'll be able to pull it in, rather. They got it. Watch grabs that one.
Yeah, this is going to be Ward Wars for a while.
Yeah.
There's no way that Shield can really do a safe Baron here either, because again, that flank, you've seen how concerned they are about that. Ooh, very nice spell shield. Whoa, good reaction time from Arrow.
No kidding, he had like a quarter of a second when he saw that cocoon coming over the wall to shield that.
So yeah, they can't do it because, again, you saw how early when they were sieging that turret in the bot lane, how concerned they are with the Shyvana flank. Their back line is very vulnerable, and so they can't really put themselves in the Baron pit because they will likely lose that fight. They're going to try and two-man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Save and Watch going for it while the rest of the members of S.H.I.E.L.D. zone a bit. Looks like they're going to bring down Zephyr as well.
They can. They're going to back off.
Yeah, it's a little bit too dangerous. Will KT go in? Maybe a bit of a barrel, or bait rather, too. Gorilla in a position to possibly get a good crescendo through that corner. Needs to be careful. They kept Someday coming in. There's a burnout. Are they going to do it? There's a team fight. NaJin coming in, wants to get a good knockup. There's an okay crescendo over the top. Zephyr, they need to save him. Kakao on top of him, though, has the Q to follow up. Zephyr comes back. There's a barrier. He's going to live. They're going to be able to take down Kakao. He's in trouble now. And KT on the run, saving the back lines with his ultimate pop. Someday just way too low. A kill, though, for Arrow. But it doesn't matter. Shield continues to chase here. Gorilla. Oh, look at the damage. The burst coming out of Lucian. Zephyr with the triple kill. And that is going to be an inhibitor at the very least for NaJin White Shield.
Let's take a look at actually, I was curious. Oh, that was huge. So Gorilla actually flashed the Crucible Zephyr right there. I was wondering why he flashed, but gave him a pretty critical heal in that team fight because he got split off from the rest of the force.
Yeah,
he was able to deal a lot of damage over to Arrow, but they're not quite able to finish right there.
And there's the inhibitor, so now NaJin White Shield going to back off, take some more buffs, recall, and buy. That mid lane turret, that mid lane inhibitor advantage is going to be really crucial in terms of Shield finally finishing out this game. But you're right, Crucible was big. Our last team
I really want to see that again now.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get a replay up in just a second.
It's that barrier that kept Zeph alive.
I'm waiting for it with bated breath.
It's true, Monty's like leaning about as close to the preview monitor as you can get.
Taking a look at Zephyr right now.
The watch pot never boils, Monty. Move back to your own monitor.
Well, I wouldn't want watch to boil anyway.
It's true. A watch never boils. Maybe 2 watches cancel out and it does boil.
Well, Zephyr going for, interestingly, we see a lot of Lucians pick up later in intake, but he's actually just going for straight up damage right here. The only super tanky member is going to be Someday, so I guess he feels like just the straight up crit damage is going to be better, especially if he gets into a 1v1 situation with Arrow, which seems to repeatedly happen in these team fights.
Yeah, that's right. Now Save kind of realizing again, Renekton does kind of fall off just a little bit, pick up that Thorn Mail, just so he can go deeper into the enemy team and kind of utilize that tankiness, make it harder for Arrow.
Yeah, he also has a Yomu's, so if he gets on top of carry, he's going to be in a really good situation someday.
He's ready.
Popping out his E right there, clearing the wards once again, Save with the split push. The Yomu's also gives him incredible turret pressure, and KT Arrow's going to start this. They're going to force a fight.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Everybody backing off. That would have been a dangerous moment for the KT Arrows. But they need to make something
wasn't
happen.
there, though.
Yeah.
Instead, they're all recalling.
Now they want to just leave Aaron away. Yeah. Give it away now. Red Hot Chili Peppers would be pleased by this play.
That was odd.
A little bit. Kakao. Oh, Kakao gets annihilated by Goon and Save, and that's going to make this Baron even easier to take for NaJin White Shield. Stefan Watts going to finish that one off. Over the wall they go, and Machani on the run right now. Gorilla, they get the slow power cord, and Machani in big trouble here. Hachani, oh, he manages to push the attack, but that's the tankiest member. Wild Growth. Not sure if that was really the, well, they kept him alive, I guess, but could have used that for the team fight.
Well, I think keeping Alistair alive so he can continue to sustain the team and push people off the turret is going to be ultimately more valuable. But that's, I think, splitting hairs really, because NaJin Shield is pushing forward into the base. They're going to get a second inhibitor no matter what.
Doesn't make a bit of difference, guys. Whoa! Here we go. Someday coming in, gets behind the there's a crescendo on the Kakao and Arrow. That's big. Arrow locked up hardcore, takes a lot of damage. And Johnny in the back line. The fight's to take Kakao in the middle. Doom does manage to take down Shyvana, and there's the calling to push people away. They're going for the win. Nobody dead yet on NaJin White Shield. There goes the first Nexus turret. There goes the second Nexus turret. KT Arrows, one last chance to prevent the 2-0. Rookie gets caught. There's going to be a lot of damage coming in. Arrow low, Goon low. They're going to push it back, but there goes the Nexus. And NaJin will take out KT 2-0. We've got a third game coming, but a big win early on for Masters for the NaJin e-mfire organization.
Both of these games have been really solid all the way around. We've seen some great play out of every team here tonight, but NaJin just showing some very decisive decision-making and shot calling on both of their squads and overcoming the bullets and the arrows and looking extremely strong while doing so. I am very impressed by this NaJin organization.
Wow, what a first showing for this new league. You know, it's such a statement, too, because NaJin, you know, known as one of the teams that's really falling off in the Korean scene, one of the teams that's, you know, on the decline. But here we go, it's a new tournament. Their first match, they beat an organization like KT, one of the premier esports clubs in Korea. What a huge first match for NaJin, and KT, the players